Today's video will answer all your questions about what it's like being a Hive moderator. Today I interview Skyela, one of the former Hive Bedrock moderators and Hive Java senior moderators. She is also a fellow YouTuber and Twitch streamer who has found extreme success during her Hypixel miniseries. What do you do as a moderator?
I guess as a moderator, like most of the time, I was dealing with reports. So you know how you can report people through the Hive Discord, or if just something came up in game where I realized somebody was cheating or breaking their rules, you go and look into it. So that's probably what like 90% of your time is spent doing. The other 10% is helping, answering questions, interacting with people in the community, stuff like that.
Do mods have to answer every question like helpers do?
I mean, I don't necessarily think that like it's kind of like a role-based thing. Mods just reply to any of the same questions a helper would. I guess there's not as much pressure as a mod to respond to every single question you see, because that's not necessarily like what the role is meant for. Whenever I had time, I'd obviously spend time like responding to questions and stuff, but you just don't have as much time to do that because of all the reports.
How hard is the moderator position?
I think that it's a lot harder than people think. There's so much that goes into it. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, like making sure that you have evidence. I remember on Java a lot, like having to record all the time, and it's known and like public info that you would need videos or evidence to report hackers with. Make sure you're going to be able to upload that video or have it saved somewhere. Keeping that all organized, like all that kind of background stuff goes into it. I think like time management is like a big one that's kind of difficult. Also, like prioritizing things. There'd be like many reports you were dealing with at the same time. Yeah, just kind of that stuff. Like learning how to juggle everything is really hard.
What are the hardest parts of being a moderator?
I mean, a lot of questions that people have for mods, like I just physically can't help them with, right? So that kind of sucks. People always complaining about, oh, just like unban my friend, unmute my friend. And it's like, that is always frustrating to explain to people, to say, look, I don't deal with that, like I can't. But like stream sniping, I think is the biggest issue Hive has right now that doesn't have like an easy solution. To what I was saying earlier about having to track multiple people, like if 3 or 4 people are sniping a streamer, it's a lot different watching from a third party than actually getting sniped yourself. It's a lot harder to track everybody, so you'd be like writing down names and trying to see, okay, is this person intentionally following them? Have they just ended up in a few games? How many games do they need to end up in before you can consider it enough evidence to be sniping?
There was a situation in my last stream where I was like, I requeued like a bunch of times, and there was a trio, and they kept on following, and it was someone who killed me in a previous game. Yeah,
exactly. And it is. And that's something where it's like, again, would I consider that enough proof to say that they're sniping? Yes. It's the collection of that proof, which is the hard thing. It makes it much easier if streamers keep their VODs public. If it's unlisted, that's fine, as long as the
all mine are unlisted.
That's the easiest way for, I think, mods to deal with it. Watching the stream and seeing that first person streamer, this person joining every single game, seeing exactly when the streamer requeues, seeing them switch game modes, and just having that all recorded on their perspective, and then timestamping that part of the stream, I think that's the easiest way to deal with it.
How long did it take to adjust to the position?
I'd say for just like general moderation, probably a good 4 months for me. When I started, I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't know much at all. Like I was really, really new. Like I didn't have too much experience like submitting reports as just like a normal player. So I'd say a good 4 months to like get my confidence up to a point where like I could deal with 90% of situations in a way that I was happy with. But I honestly think that like being a mod, like you never get fully comfortable. There's always new things and new topics that, kind of push your limits and test like your old opinions on certain situations. So it's always evolving. Like you're never comfortable as a mod.
What kind of feedback is positive and what is negative?
People who try to understand the position that like I'm in or other moderators are in, anything like that I'd say is positive. You have people who might be frustrated, like, oh, I think my friend was falsely banned. They're not necessarily calling you out, I guess. Negative pressure would be, oh, like this was trash, like mods are so bad, or why don't the mods just do this, or fix the anti-cheat, it's so easy. And it's like, well, no, like that isn't really contributing anything, because it's just kind of like yelling things without considering the mod's perspective. Positive motivations as mods are just people who like take the time to like report. Thank you so much. It helps a lot, especially when they report with their own evidence, which is clear. If you're able to post a short video or a screenshot that's like clearly showing somebody breaking the rules in like the little comment section of your report, it makes it go so much quicker and so much smoother. Because then we don't need to like look for proof ourselves.
How do I know if being mod is right for me?
I think that it takes a lot of discipline. You know, mods really need to watch what they say on the server. You know, even just comments that have a slight chance of being misinterpreted like the wrong way, big no-no. I think people need to be really diligent with working. I think people need to be ready to learn, ready to make mistakes, ready to be criticized, because there's a lot of learning and trial and error that goes into being a mod. Long discussions that you need to be able to like back up your own point and be confident in your own opinion. And if you're not, you need to be ready to learn from people who are. And I think you just need to be like ready to be part of a team. Really, like if somebody disagrees with your decision, or if somebody does something differently than you, you know, you got to be able to just say, well, at the end of the day, we're just looking out for whatever's best for the players on the server. This person is still super chill, like they're a good friend to me, whatever, you know, like it can't get personal.
What are the best parts of being a moderator?
The staff team itself is like really, really nice. There's a lot of amazing people there who, you know, obviously have the same characteristics as you, so it's really easy to get along with them. They're a really tight-knit group, but they still welcome people in. So that's just like such a positive. And honestly, like it is fun. Like I personally really liked dealing with reports and being a mod and just helping out on the server, right? Like that was just enjoyable work for me. I wasn't too interested in the mini games anymore. But yeah, I think the main thing still is just the people there. Like they're really funny and really nice, and it's a great environment.
What are your tips to get Hive Moderator?
If you are applying for the helper position to one day get mod, or your only goal is to get mod, do not apply for the staff team. You are going to hate it. You're going to have a miserable time. Life is going to suck for you. Like, it's going to be so frustrating. The moderator and the helper role are, first of all, considered equal, just as different responsibilities. So if you're going into the mindset of, oh, I'm going to moderate, let me become a helper, you're not gonna enjoy it at all. Like, I feel like people always assume that the moderator position is like, oh, the people who are best at moderating as a helper are going to get moderator. And, you know, that's not always the case. It's like the people who are the most team oriented and are just dedicated to working hard and fulfilling their role and just being a positive person in the team. Like, I feel like those are the people, you know, the team wants to see. Not people who are just like, I hate the helper role, I'm only here to get mod, right? That's a really negative attitude. So that being said though, I don't think it's like unhealthy to have the goal of being a moderator.
I agree.
If you're applying for helper. I just don't think it should be your only reason for applying, right? I think it's completely valid to say, I really want to be on the staff team, and one day I hope that I could get to try the moderator role. That's completely fine.
What happens if you ask what H means? What happens as a helper if you don't respond to helper, what does H mean?
Demoted. Instant. That's like the question you always have to answer 100% of the time.
YouTube recommends you watch this video where I beat every game mode on the Hive. It's really funny. Thanks for watching.